Good morning. Hello. Oh, goodness, dear. Callus, thank you for helping point out the technical issue that was going on. I was talking for like a solid minute and a half. I did not see that one coming. My apologies. Can you hear now? Is it working now? It works. It works. I was introducing my friend here, the candle, the open flame on a table full of papers. Just a representation of the riskiness of life, as well as the uh, all the symbolism that can come from staring into a candle. Candles are very contemplative things, so uh, that is why that candle is sitting there, and it is a nice little candle. Maybe I'll move it up to like here, or something like that. If I move that candle here, there we go, a little better. I don't know if I like it in either place. I'm going to start this morning by reading a poem by a fellow Winchester poet named Alan D. Jack D. Alan G. Deck, who is a harp player on the Walking Wall, as I am a typewriter player on the Walking Wall. And the name of the poem is Dazzling Stars. Modern life does tempt the senses, living high on science's inventions, better embraced by green and silent hills, buzzing wings, waving grasses, and deer-stalked forest, a hermit's Eden, an angel's recluse. I visit myself in home and market. So many faces, so many stories, so little time to hear them all. Grateful and free, I drive my chariot on paths of dazzling stars, always homing to the nest to rest for another day of miracles. I've been feeling that way with being able to do that, just to be uh, thankful for those miracles that are just happening, joyful for what they have to offer. I've been really on a big gratefulness kick, and I can write some pretty sharp lines about what's going on with coronavirus, and I can write some pretty hard things in terms of like, you know, the struggles of life, and there are a lot of things wrong with the world and all that stuff. But really, when it comes down to it, I wake up and I think that I finally kind of clicked on the perspective thing. Callus says, very beautiful. Thank you for listening and being part of that moment to celebrate those miracles. I really think I've kind of gotten myself in a groove where I have a gratefulness and perspective for everything that we have in this life. And it's busy as heck. Like, my life is very busy, but I'm still just so happy to be here and be able to write, be able to read poetry, be able to do so across the cybersphere. So I'm thinking I'm going to tackle some more COVID poetry. I actually have some lines I wrote down yesterday. I was actually at a movie theater yesterday. Everybody was social distance, mask wearing type of thing. And we were watching a cabaret of local performers who had recorded themselves to be displayed on the big screen. And it was a really beautiful display of theater. And I wrote some lines. And they're not complete. And I wrote them down actually in a notebook. Oh, goodness, it's not typewritten. And I think I'm going to use these as a launching point into a poem about the coronavirus. And the title of the poem is What I Will Remember. The nightly live streams, the daily spirit, the willful ignorance that was a weedy garden with roses in bloom. The way you never stopped singing. The way music first came from the Italian balconies. 1,000 conversations about masks, but seeing those eyes smile. The day I traveled to New York, the sign for I love you. A million ways to treasure the lives dying. And that's where it stops. So, let's turn to our friend here, the typewriter. And let's take some of this first and drop it into a poem. I think I'm actually going to move this down over here, because if I'm going to be over here, I don't want to knock my candle down. And there's not a real good spot for that candle, but we're going to keep it there. Incremental improvements, adding little things to the stream. And let me move this over just a little bit. And I'm going to bring back some of our music. A little intense. I don't want that. I don't want that song. Hold on a second. I want this on. Is it? It's not, I don't think it's doing shuffle. It's shuffling, but it's only shuffling through 4 songs. Come on. I don't know how that happened. Ercala says, I'm curious what you will most remember from the corona time. I probably will remember, and I keep referring to him countless times because I keep playing his music, but I will remember the musical artist that created this music, the music that you're hearing now. I will remember him, and he has nightly live streams where he DJs. But it was really a lot more than that. He created a community of people that, kind of stuck together during everything and still stick together. And I think that I'm going to remember that because the whole point of his music and his persona and his craft, and his name is Akira the Dawn, and I'll drop that in the chat. And I actually cast his streams after mine. I host him on here. He does morning streams and evening streams. But it was all about being persistent during the pandemic. And it's hard for a lot of people. It's hard for me. But being able to show that something like this pandemic doesn't get us down, man, like that type of thing. And that's what I'm going to most remember. And then the second thing I'm going to most remember is my wife started a theater group on Zoom. And every week she put on 2 shows. And she is an incredible inspiration. So I think it was one of those things where I first stumbled upon this guy, and I had been listening to his music, but I didn't realize how powerful just a person he was, creating kind of this community in terms of like just inspiration. And then my wife just being the titan she is. Let's get to some writing. The candle is starting to release some of its nice scent. Oh, that's good. Put that there. This is at 5. I put that here. Just resetting my margins. If you're just tuning in, more COVID poetry. think that what it lacked inside my notebook was an ending. I've kind of basically written it verbatim with some additions. COVID poetry. Callus, thank you so much for the words in the chat. I really do appreciate that. It means it really does mean a lot. You know, it was. I don't want to make it like, oh, this is hard or something like that, but you know, I think that if we all lift each other up, it'll make the pain of this moment a little less. It will make our joy a little more. And I thank you. But I gotta finish this poem. What will I remember? And I already mentioned the nightly live streams, the Daily Spirit. I don't know if that's a good ending to the poem, but for me, it's how I feel. And I could change it in the future. And I'm thinking that, so that opening line, what will I remember, the nightly live streams? That's a very personal thing for me, the nightly live streams. I don't think everybody has been tuning in to a live stream every night. But if I change that to video chats, that might be more apropos to a universal audience. And it's true, technically, I was tuning into a video chat. It was a live streamer. Like, this could be reinterpreted as a video chat. What I will remember. The nightly video chats. The daily spirit. The willful ignorance that was a weedy garden with roses in bloom. The way music poured from Italian balconies. The way you never stopped singing. The 1,000 conversations about quarantine, social distancing, masks. But seeing all your eyes smile. The day I traveled to New York, saw my family for the first time since March. A sign saying, I love you. The million little ways we dedicated and mourned the invisible dying. How I suddenly saw you for the first time. What I will remember. A poem about the coronavirus. So, how's everybody doing this morning? I know we got some other people tuning in. If you want to say hi, feel free to drop in the chat. If you want to bring your thoughts about coronavirus, this morning is a coronavirus-themed poetry morning as I continue to build my collection. I haven't really, I don't have, a specific, what's the word? I don't know. Not like I have, a specific checklist I'm running through. I'm just going to probably wake up one day and go, oh, wow, I've written 40 poems about this topic, and kind of just call it quits. but I haven't gotten to that point yet. This one is, I'm not ready to bring this one onto the stream yet, but I will maybe in a couple minutes. So this next poem, this was for my wife's birthday, which was or actually, I think this was for mine. Yeah, because she got this for me, I think. She got me a birthday cake on my birthday, which was April 20th. So put that in your time frame of, kind of a little after we had just peaked in terms of the coronavirus. And I wrote this poem inspired by that moment. Risking my life to buy you a birthday cake. Sweetness on my tongue, the kiss you bid this coronavirus crusader goodbye, as I get gifts of love. A birthday cake. Now in this time, when all good men are called to the aid of a country, when we prepare for the cure to social disease, when I tremble at the counter clerk, wonder why, wonder if, wonder that you and I, still here during the burning candle low, finest hour, fire with power to make wishes for new to come true. Risking my life to buy you a birthday cake. It's interesting how especially during that time when fears were still there, and if you're living in a pretty like a state with a lot of outbreaks, you're probably going through something very similar. But the notion that little acts are risky, like every time I write a poem for someone on the street, that is a risky situation. It is. I want to take this and I want to make a poem about it. If you're tuning in and you haven't followed me, please consider giving me a follow. I am attempting to reach 50 followers so I can get affiliate status and we can have typewriter emojis, because that's a dream. I'm going to bring back our music and I'm going to work on through the editing process. Actually, yes, typewriter emojis. Right now we are content with this. Type emojis. Callus is very excited for the typewriter emojis. But for now, if you want to share your love through emoji, you can use typewriter emoji, like lo-fi emoji that I created. Ocalis has definitely found joy in the little typewriter emoji. I should probably promote that more often in the stream when people come on. Be like, we have an emoji here. It's a typewriter emoji. I think this part here is where I need to be able to put more. Pen has given up on me. Coming back with, if you're just tuning in, coming back with new pen. Just tuning in, I am doing typewriter poetry about coronavirus. What you see here is a poem about buying a birthday cake during a pandemic. All right, what this really mainly was is this was a lot of addition on the end of the poem here. So when I read this, after I retype it, you'll hear all that. Other words. Other words. Now that handle is really doing it. That is so good. This candle was made by a friend of mine on Instagram at KStorm Creations. I'm going to definitely suggest to follow. She makes a lot of earrings, decorative jewelry, handmade, everything handmade. She has an Etsy store too. 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. One, 2, 3, 4, 6. Yes, she has many talents. But I don't know if she's ever written any public poetry. One thing I'm fascinated about is private poets. I know that I checked the stream chat and the users in the chat, and now we got Spencer of Grove lurking here. I hope that their poem is going well. I know that there was a sonnet happening. I'm pretty sure it was a cake for her birthday. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, if this candle is any indicator, she's extremely talented. The entire room has become this amazing aroma. I can't even put my finger on what that aroma is, but all I know is I do not regret this decision. Oh no! Margin issues! My margins here on this one are very interesting. Margins are a very underrated way to use emphasis. You know, we obviously have our notion of using words as emphasis, but placement can be so equivalent in terms of its ability to shed that light. I believe I forgot something here. So a few days ago, my 86-year-old typewriter, that's what this is, an 86-year-old typewriter. This is like having, you know, using this typewriter on a stream like this is the equivalent to having a 80-year-old lady doing CrossFit. So give it up for the typewriter. This machine was not meant to do this much work this many years after its original thing, and it just goes. And I expected more dings, dents, and issues, but it certainly has gotten its $60 worth. These new paragraphs are the new ones. I think we're on track to run 3 poems today. I love this hour-long stream. Okay, let's see how this looks. Margins are good, survivable. Let me bring down my music. Okay. Okay. Risking my life to buy you a birthday cake. The kiss you bid this coronavirus crusader goodbye as I get gift of love. A birthday cake. Now in this time when all good men are called to the aid of the country. When we prepare for a cure to the social disease. When I tremble at the counter clerk, wondering why, wondering if, wondering how you and I, still here during the burning candle low, finest hour, fire with power to make new wishes come true. So I bear this sweetness, freestanding dedication to making it one more year, and let the gust of nature's blow, plunging into airborne darkness, be a prayer for a pandemic of salvation, a bonfire next year. I like this one. That one turned out well. Yay. All right. Tack that together. I wish that OBS would tell me what my delay is, but it doesn't. Urcala says, all romantic. Indeed, it was, I think that love and oh my goodness, that brings up a poem that I should read to you guys, which is about weddings being pushed. And I need to make a note about that. Love in the time of Corona. Make list. I think I have enough poems at this point that I can actually start making a list of what my collection would look like. We're at 44. I'm debating. I'm actually looking at the time, 7:48. I'm debating whether I'm going to actually bring this one up. This one is way too complicated. You know what? I might even just dedicate the entirety of my next non-request stream to this poem. Yeah. Because, so I'll tell you why. All right, so you guys are tuning in. You're like, why is he being silent? This is a poem that combines my 2-week experience in Cuba with a random springs in the Winchester area, a place called Jordan Springs, with the with the tension between North and South, racism, Confederates, that type of thing, with the pandemic. I had an experience where one of these days I was so cooped up, and I wish I had a date for when I did this, but I remember I did it. And I was just so cooped up, and I needed to get out. I needed to drive. And so I took a drive, and I let the road randomly take me. And it took me to this place called Jordan Springs. And it's this beautiful retreat, kind of like tucked in a little valley. Like, and you know how the mountains have like these very like high level valleys? So it's one of those. And they had like a hotel, residency, there were springs there, everything. And when I was driving, I was listening to Benny Moré, the Cuban artist. And so all these things came together. But I was reading a lot about the place, and it turned out it was like, you know, it was a place where Confederate soldiers hid out for like most of the war. In the middle of the pandemic, and all those just crazy feelings just colliding into one poem. I don't even feel comfortable reading it yet. It's powerful. But it's interesting because just, you know, that's the great thing about poetry too, is like one of the things that this artist I was talking about before, Callus, Akira the Dawn, talks about is that you don't want to wait for inspiration to just try to start writing. If you're writing continuously and then inspiration comes, then it'll kind of filter in, or you write and you write crap and then it gets better. Like there's all those factors. And this poem, it does not make sense to drag these teams together until you actually read the poem and you see that it does make sense. Your poetry can be about anything. Your own personal poetry can be about anything. If you're sitting there like, oh, I don't write poetry, you can write poetry about anything. You don't even have to show anybody. That's the magic. That's the beauty of it. Well, anyway, this was I don't know if this will even ever actually be a COVID poem, but it's definitely a poem. Well, I want to thank everybody for being part of the stream today. I'm going to wrap it up just a little early. It was fun to be here. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. If you are tuning in and you have not followed the stream, please consider following. Again, trying to reach myself up to that 50 follower goal so that I can get that affiliate status and we can have real typewriter emojis. So anyway, thank you so much. You guys all have a great day.